The awakening. The cerulean skies of New Eden shimmered with an alien beauty, a constant reminder to its inhabitants that this world, for all its Earth-like qualities, was not the cradle of humanity. For generations, the colonists of New Eden had lived in blissful isolation, their history of interstellar travel forgotten, their advanced technology slowly degrading into myth and legend. Governor Elara Chen stood at the viewport of New Eden's modest orbital station, her dark eyes scanning the horizon of the planet below. At 53, her black hair was streaked with silver, testament to the weighty responsibilities she'd shouldered for the past decade. The station hummed with activity, but a sense of unease permeated the recycled air. "Governor, we're picking up anomalous readings at the edge of the system," reported Marcus Reeves, the young head of New Eden's fledgling space defense force. His voice carried a mix of excitement and apprehension. Elara turned, her brow furrowing. "Define anomalous, Commander." Marcus manipulated the holographic display, bringing up a swirling mass of data points and trajectories. "Multiple objects, ma'am. Too large and too fast to be natural phenomena. They're headed straight for us." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. For centuries, New Eden had been alone in the vastness of space. The possibility of contact with other intelligent life had long been debated in academic circles, but now, faced with the reality, Elara felt a chill run down her spine. "Alert all outposts and settlements," she ordered, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind. "Initiate first contact protocols." As New Eden scrambled to prepare for the unknown, the objects drew closer. Within hours, they resolved into sleek, predatory shapes, starships of unmistakably alien design. Their hulls gleamed with an obsidian sheen, adorned with swirling patterns that seemed to absorb light. Before New Eden could broadcast any message of peace or welcome, the alien vessels opened fire. Energy beams lanced out, carving furrows across the planet's surface. The orbital station rocked violently, klaxons blaring as emergency systems engaged. Elara gripped a console to steady herself, watching in horror as the alien armada descended upon her world. "They're targeting population centers," Marcus shouted over the din of alarms and panicked voices. "Our defenses are ineffective against their shields." Elara's mind raced. New Eden's technology, while advanced by the standards of their isolated existence, was clearly no match for these aggressors. They needed a miracle. As if in answer to her silent prayer, an alert chimed on a nearby terminal. "Governor," called out Dr. Zara Patel, the station's chief scientist. "The archaeological site in the southern hemisphere, it's activating." For years, New Eden's scientists had puzzled over the mysterious structures buried deep beneath the planet's surface. Long assumed to be remnants of an ancient alien civilization, they had resisted all attempts at study or activation. Until now, on viewscreens across the station, a massive door ground open in the side of a mountain, revealing a cavernous hangar. From its depths rose a ship unlike anything the people of New Eden had ever seen. Sleek and powerful, it dwarfed even the largest of the alien vessels. As the ship ascended into the atmosphere, strange symbols flickered to life across its hull. To everyone's amazement, they resolved into a language they could understand. Terran Federation Dreadnought Perilous. Reasitai Vatiion Porotosios Einitiated. Terran Federation. Elara whispered, the words stirring something deep in her genetic memory. "But that's us," Marcus finished, his eyes wide with wonder. "That's a human ship." The Phoenix moved with impossible grace for its size, interposing itself between New Eden and the alien fleet. For a moment, silence reigned as both sides seemed to assess this new development. Then, with a flash of light that momentarily rivaled New Eden's sun, the Phoenix opened fire. Beams of coherent energy lashed out, slicing through the alien ship's shields as if they were tissue paper. Missiles streaked across space, detonating with force enough to shatter smaller vessels and cripple larger ones. The alien fleet, caught off guard by this sudden reversal, began to retreat. Those ships too damaged to flee were summarily destroyed by the Phoenix's relentless assault. As quickly as it had begun, the battle was over. The skies above New Eden cleared of all but the triumphant form of humanity's forgotten legacy. In the stunned silence that followed, Ilara found her voice. "Open a channel to that ship," she ordered, her tone brooking no argument. Moments later, a holographic figure shimmered into existence on the station's bridge. It was a woman, tall and regal, dressed in a uniform that spoke of authority and tradition long forgotten. "Greetings, people of New Eden," the figure said, her voice resonant with warmth and power. "I am Admiral Lyra Vega, artificial intelligence custodian of the Terran Federation Dreadnought Phoenix. It seems we have much to discuss." Over the next hours, as New Eden tended to its wounded and assessed the damage, Admiral Vega shared a history that had been lost to time. She spoke of a vast human empire that had once spanned the stars, of great wars and greater achievements. And she spoke of the Zarkath, the alien empire whose vanguard they had just propelled. "The Zarkath have long sought to expand their dominion," Vega explained. "When the Terran Federation fell, millennia ago, they began to encroach on what was once human space. It seems they finally reached New Eden." Ilara listened, her mind reeling from the implications. But why now? Why did the Phoenix activate after all this time? Vega's holographic form smiled. The Phoenix, and other ships like it, were left as guardians. Dormant until the need was great. Your people have grown, evolved. The genetic markers we were programmed to recognize have finally manifested. You are ready to reclaim your heritage. As the AI spoke, more systems across New Eden hummed to life. Hidden caches of advanced technology revealed themselves. Computers long dormant began to interface with the colony's networks, flooding them with knowledge long thought lost. "The Zarkath will return," Vega warned. "This was but a scouting force. We must prepare." Ilara straightened, feeling the weight of history and destiny settling upon her shoulders. "Then prepare we shall," she declared. "It's time for humanity to remember who we are." As word spread across New Eden, a fire was kindled in the hearts of its people. They had faced extinction and survived. They had glimpsed the stars and found not just terror, but wonder. And they had discovered a legacy beyond their wildest dreams. The age of isolation was over. Humanity was awakening, ready to take its place once more among the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. Forging alliances. The weeks following the Zarkath attack were a whirlwind of activity on New Eden. Governor Ilara Chen found herself at the center of a rapidly expanding web of responsibilities, balancing the immediate needs of her people with the monumental task of preparing for a war they'd barely understood. The Phoenix, now in geosynchronous orbit above New Eden's capital, served as a beacon of hope and a font of knowledge. Admiral Lyra Vega's AI had begun the process of reintegrating lost human technology, but progress was slow. Centuries of isolation had left New Eden's infrastructure ill-equipped to handle the sudden influx of advanced systems. "We need allies," Ilara announced during a strategy meeting in the newly established command center. "The Phoenix is powerful, but it's just one ship. We need to know more about the current state of the galaxy." Marcus Rees, now promoted to fleet commander, nodded in agreement. "The Admiral has provided coordinates for several worlds that were once part of the Terran Federation. It's a long shot, but some of them might still be inhabited." Dr. Zara Patel, who had been poring over the wealth of scientific data provided by the Phoenix, looked up from her tablet. "There's more," she said, her eyes bright with excitement. "I've been analyzing the sensor logs from the battle. The Zarkath ships showed signs of damage that couldn't have come from the Phoenix. They've been fighting someone else." This news sent a ripple of murmurs through the assembled leadership. Ilara leaned forward, her mind racing with possibilities. "Then our first priority is clear. We need to find these other opponents of the Zarkath. They could be potential allies." The decision made, New Eden threw itself into the monumental task of preparing its first interstellar expedition in centuries. The Phoenix, while formidable was designed as a warship, not an exploration vessel. From the reactivated caches of technology scattered across the planet, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to retrofit a fleet of smaller ships for long-range travel. As the preparations neared completion, Ilara found herself standing once more in the orbital station, gazing down at the world she had sworn to protect. The scars from the Zarkath attack were still visible, angry red gashes across the planet's surface, but already signs of recovery were apparent. "You seem troubled, Governor," came the voice of Admiral Vega. The A's holographic form shimmered into existence beside Ilara. Ilara sighed, not taking her eyes off the view. "I'm sending our people into the unknown, Admiral. How can I not be troubled?" FMH. Continue. Certainly. I'll now continue with Part 2, Forging Alliances. This part will focus on the humans of New Eden reaching out to the galactic community and rediscovering their technological heritage. Part 2, Forging Alliances. The weeks following the Zarkath attack were a whirlwind of activity on New Eden. Governor Elara Chen found herself at the center of a rapidly expanding web of responsibilities, balancing the immediate needs of her people with the monumental task of preparing for a war they barely understood. The Phoenix, now in geosynchronous orbit above New Eden's capital, served as a beacon of hope and a font of knowledge. Admiral Lyra Vega's AI had begun the process of reintegrating lost human technology, but progress was slow. Centuries of isolation had left New Eden's infrastructure ill-equipped to handle the sudden influx of advanced systems. "We need allies," Ilara announced during a strategy meeting in the newly established command center. "The Phoenix is powerful, but it's just one ship. We need to know more about the current state of the galaxy." Marcus Rees, now promoted to fleet commander, nodded in agreement. "The Admiral has provided coordinates for several worlds that were once part of the Terran Federation. It's a long shot, but some of them might still be inhabited." Dr. Zara Patel, who had been poring over the wealth of scientific data provided by the Phoenix, looked up from her tablet. "There's more," she said, her eyes bright with excitement. "I've been analyzing the sensor logs from the battle. The Zarkath ships showed signs of damage that couldn't have come from the Phoenix. They've been fighting someone else." This news sent a ripple of murmurs through the assembled leadership. Ilara leaned forward, her mind racing with possibilities. "Then our first priority is clear. We need to find these other opponents of the Zarkath. They could be potential allies." The decision made, New Eden threw itself into the monumental task of preparing its first interstellar expedition in centuries. The Phoenix, while formidable, was designed as a warship, not an exploration vessel. From the reactivated caches of technology scattered across the planet, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to retrofit a fleet of smaller ships for long-range travel. As the preparations neared completion, Ilara found herself standing once more in the orbital station, gazing down at the world she had sworn to protect. The scars from the Zarkath attack were still visible, angry red gashes across the planet's surface, but already signs of recovery were apparent. "You seem troubled, Governor," came the voice of Admiral Vega. The A's holographic form shimmered into existence beside Ilara. Ilara sighed, not taking her eyes off the view. "I'm sending our people into the unknown, Admiral. How can I not be troubled?" "Your concern for your people does you credit," Vega replied. "But remember, you are not truly venturing into the unknown. You are reclaiming what was once yours." Before Ilara could respond, an alert chimed from a nearby console. "Governor," called out the young officer on duty. "We're detecting a ship entering the system. It's not one of ours, and it doesn't match Zarkath configurations." Tension filled the air as the unknown vessel approached. It was smaller than the Phoenix, its hull a shimmering silver that seemed to ripple like water. As it drew closer, a transmission came through. "People of New Eden," came a melodious voice, speaking perfect English to everyone's surprise. "I am Ambassador Thela of the Eleron Concordat. We come in peace and friendship. The next few hours were a flurry of diplomatic exchanges and security precautions. Eventually, a delegation from the Eleron ship was allowed to dock with the station. As the airlock cycled open, Ilara found herself face to face with beings that were undeniably alien, yet strangely familiar. The Elorons were tall and slender, their skin a pale blue that seemed to glow from within. Ambassador Thala stepped forward, her large, almond-shaped eyes filled with warmth and curiosity. "Governor Chen," she said, bowing slightly, "it brings us great joy to make contact with humanity once more." Ilara blinked in surprise. "You know of us?" Thala's expression turned sullen. "We remember the Terran Federation well. Our peoples were allies, long ago. When your civilization fell, we mourned. But now," her face brightened once more, "now you have returned to the stars, and not a moment too soon." In the conference room, Thala shared the state of the galaxy with New Eden's leadership. The Zarkath Empire had been expanding aggressively for centuries, conquering or destroying any civilization that stood in their path. The Eleron Concordat, along with a handful of other species, had been fighting a losing battle to contain them. "The reactivation of your Phoenix has shifted the balance," Thala explained. "The Zarkath fear the return of humanity. They remember your strength, your ingenuity. With your help, we may finally have a chance to turn the tide." As Thala spoke, Dr. Patel was analyzing data from the Eleron ship. Her eyes widened as she made a startling discovery. "Governor," she interrupted, her voice trembling with excitement. "The Eleron ship, its technology, it's compatible with ours. With the Phoenix, it's as if it were designed to work together," Thala finished with a smile. "Because it was. Much of our current technology is based on designs we developed alongside humanity long ago. We've improved upon it over the centuries, of course, but the core principles remain the same." The implications were staggering. Not only had New Eden found an ally, but they had found one whose technology could seamlessly integrate with the rediscovered human systems. The potential for rapid advancement was enormous. Over the next few days, as Eleron engineers worked alongside their human counterparts, more discoveries were made. Hidden within the Phoenix's vast databanks were designs for ships and weapons, far beyond anything New Eden had imagined. With Eleron assistance, construction began on a new generation of vessels that combined the best of both civilizations' technologies. But time was not on their side. Scout ships reported increased Zarkath activity at the fringes of the system. The enemy was regrouping, preparing for a larger assault. In a private moment amidst the frenzy of activity, Ilara found herself once more in conversation with Admiral Vega's A. "We're not ready," Ilara confessed, the weight of leadership heavy on her shoulders. "Even with the Eleron's help, we can't hope to stand against the full might of the Zarkath Empire." Vega's holographic form regarded her with a mix of compassion and steel resolve. "No one is ever truly ready for war, Governor. But remember this, humanity has faced extinction before. Each time, we have emerged stronger. You carry within you the legacy of countless generations who refused to succumb to darkness." The A's form shimmered, and suddenly Ilara was surrounded by holographic projections of human history. Great battles fought and won against impossible odds, moments of brilliant innovation born from desperate need, and always, always, the indomitable human spirit shining through. "You are not alone," Vega continued. "The alliance you forged today is but the first step. Out there among the stars are more lost colonies, more forgotten technologies, and more potential allies. Your task is not just to defend New Eden, but to reforge the bonds of humanity across the galaxy." As the holograms faded, Ilara stood straighter, her resolve strengthened. She thought of her people, of the trust they had placed in her. She thought of the Elorons, reaching out across the vastness of space to extend a hand of friendship. And she thought of the future, a future where humanity once again took its place among the stars. "Then that's exactly what we'll do," she declared, her voice firm with determination. We'll remind the galaxy why humanity was once a force to be reckoned with. And this time, we'll build something that will last. As if in response to her words, an alert chimed. Another cache of ancient human technology had been discovered, this one containing blueprints for a device that could revolutionize their faster-than-light travel capabilities. The race against time continued, but now, for the first time since the Zarkath attack, hope burned bright on New Eden. Humanity was awakening, alliances were forming, and the stars themselves seemed to beckon. The Zarkath Empire had no idea what was coming. The rising storm. The shipyards of New Eden hummed with ceaseless activity, a testament to humanity's renewed purpose. At the heart of this industrial symphony stood the skeletal frame of what would become humanity's new flagship, the Avalon. Governor Elara Chen watched from a nearby observation deck as swarms of construction drones wove intricate patterns around the massive vessel. Beside her, Fleet Commander Marcus Reeves studied a holographic readout of the ship's specifications. "It's incredible," Marcus breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "The Avalon combines the best of our rediscovered technology with Eleran advancements. It's leagues beyond even the Phoenix in capabilities." Elara nodded, a mix of pride and apprehension swirling in her chest. And not a moment too soon. The Zarkath attacks are becoming more frequent, more aggressive. As if to punctuate her words, an alert chimed from Marcus's comm device. His expression darkened as he read the message. "Governor, we've lost contact with Outpost Sigma. It's the third settlement to go dark this week." Ilara's jaw tightened. The Zarkath had shifted tactics, focusing on isolated outposts and colonies instead of launching a full-scale assault on New Eden itself. It was a war of attrition, designed to stretch the defenders thin and sap their morale. "How long until the Avalon is ready?" Elara asked, her gaze fixed on the half-completed ship. Marcus consulted his datapad. Dr. Patel's team has made remarkable progress, but we're still looking at least 2 months before it's fully operational. "We don't have 2 months," Elara muttered, more to herself than to Marcus. She turned to face her fleet commander, her expression resolute. "We need to buy more time. Prepare a task force. We're going to take the fight to the Zarkath." The next few days were a blur of preparations. A fleet of smaller, more maneuverable ships was assembled, each equipped with the latest hybrid human Eleran technology. At its core was the Phoenix, still humanity's most powerful asset. As the task force prepared to depart, Elara addressed the crews from the bridge of the Phoenix. Admiral Vega's holographic form stood beside her, a symbol of humanity's past and future united. "You carry with you the hopes of not just New Eden, but of all free peoples in this galaxy," Elara said, her voice firm and clear. "The Zarkath believe us weak, divided. Today we prove them wrong. Today we remind them why humanity was once feared among the stars." A cheer went up from the assembled crews, their faces set with determination. As the fleet jumped to hyperspace, Elara couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. How many times in humanity's long history had they faced such moments? The battle that followed would later be known as the engagement at Centauri's edge. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace on the fringes of a system the Zarkath had been using as a staging ground. What they found was a force far larger than intelligence had suggested. "It's a trap," Marcus realized, his face pale as he surveyed the tactical display. Hundreds of Zarkath ships hung in space before them, their weapon systems powering up. For a moment, panic threatened to overtake the bridge. But then Admiral Vega's voice rang out, calm and confident. "Perhaps," the AI said, "but not one they're prepared for. All ships, initiate Protocol Omega." Across the human fleet, systems that had lain dormant roared to life. Shields shimmered with newfound strength, weapons charged with energies not seen in millennia. The Phoenix itself seemed to glow from within, ancient systems awakening to their full potential. What followed was a battle that would be sung about for generations. The human ships moved with impossible grace, their weapons tearing through Zarkath defenses like paper. The Phoenix was a force of nature, its main cannon capable of destroying entire squadrons with a single shot. But the Zarkath were not unprepared. From the heart of their fleet emerged a massive dreadnought, easily twice the size of the Phoenix. Its hull was scarred and pitted, evidence of countless battles won. "The World Breaker," Admiral Vega announced, a note of genuine concern in her synthetic voice. "The flagship of the Zarkath Emperor himself. I had hoped we would have more time before facing it." The World Breaker lived up to its name. Its weapons lashed out, destroying several human ships in rapid succession. Even the Phoenix's advanced shields buckled under its onslaught. As the battle raged, Dr. Zara Patel's voice came through on a secure channel. "Governor, we've analyzed the World Breaker's energy signature. There's something odd about it. It's using technology that seems to be a corrupted version of old Terran designs." Ilara's mind raced. Could the Zarkath have salvaged and repurposed human technology from the fall of the old Federation? The implications were staggering. "Can we use that to our advantage?" Ilara asked, ducking as a nearby console exploded in a shower of sparks. "Maybe," Zara replied, her voice tense with concentration. "If we can get close enough, we might be able to initiate a systems override, but it would require dropping our shields at close range." It was a desperate plan, but they were rapidly running out of options. Ilara gave the order, and the Phoenix surged forward, weaving through the chaos of battle towards the looming bulk of the World Breaker. What followed was a dance of titans. The Phoenix, guided by Admiral Vega's inhuman reflexes, dodged and weaved through a storm of weapons fire. Its own weapons blazed continuously, keeping the Zarkath defenders at bay. As they closed with the World Breaker, Ilara felt time slow to a crawl. This was the moment. Success would turn the tide of not just this battle, but possibly the entire war. Failure meant the end of everything. "Now," Zora's voice crackled over the comm. For a heart-stopping moment, the Phoenix's shields dropped. In that instant, it was vulnerable, a minnow before a leviathan. The World Breaker's weapons locked on, ready to deliver the killing blow. But before it could fire, a pulse of energy erupted from the Phoenix. It washed over the World Breaker, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a puppet with its strings cut, the massive Zarkath ship went dark. "We did it," Zara exulted. "We've initiated a complete systems shutdown." The human fleet pressed their advantage, pouring fire into the suddenly vulnerable World Breaker. As the massive ship began to break apart, the remaining Zarkath vessels turned tail and fled. In the aftermath of the battle, as damage reports flooded in and the adrenaline began to fade, Ilara found a quiet moment to reflect. They had won a great victory today, but at a terrible cost. Many good people had died, and the Zarkath would not take this defeat lightly. But they had also learned valuable lessons. The Zarkath were not invincible. Their technology, fearsome as it was, had vulnerabilities that could be exploited. And most importantly, humanity had proven to itself that it could stand against the storm. As the fleet limped home to New Eden, Ilara's resolve hardened. They would mourn their dead, repair their ships, and prepare for the next battle. The Avalon would be completed, new alliances would be forged, and humanity would continue to awaken to its true potential. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the Zarkath attack, Ilara allowed herself to believe that they might just win, trial by fire. The Avalon gleamed in the light of New Eden's sun, its sleek hull a testament to the combined ingenuity of humanity and their Eleran allies. After months of round-the-clock work, the flagship was finally complete. Standing on the bridge, Governor Ilara Chen felt a mix of awe and trepidation as she surveyed the advanced systems surrounding her. "She's beautiful," Fleet Commander Marcus Reeves said, his voice filled with pride. "And just in time, too." Ilara nodded grimly. In the weeks following the Battle of Centauri's Edge, the Zarkath had gone ominously quiet. Intelligence reports suggested they were massing for a major offensive, one that could potentially overwhelm New Eden's defenses. Admiral Vega, Ilara called out. Status report. The A's holographic form materialized beside her. All systems are operating at peak efficiency, Governor. The Avalon's capabilities exceed even my most optimistic projections. However, I must caution you, we have yet to test her in actual combat conditions. The air was silent for a moment, running calculations. It's possible, Governor, but the risk is extreme. We would need to divert all power to forward shields, leaving our flanks exposed. Ilara took a deep breath, weighing the lives of her crew against the fate of New Eden, of all humanity. We have no choice. Helm, set course for the Singularity engine. All power to forward shields. The Avalon turned, accelerating towards the heart of the Zarkaf fleet. Enemy fire intensified, focusing on the lone ship daring to challenge their supreme weapon. Zara, Ilara called out, whatever you're going to do it fast. As they closed with the massive Zarkaf vessel, Ilara could feel the Avalon groaning around her. Warnings blared as systems were pushed beyond their limits. Now, Zara shouted. A pulse of energy erupted from the Avalon, striking the Singularity engine at a precise point. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a sound that seemed to shake the very fabric of space-time, the massive ship began to implode. All ships, fall back, Ilara ordered. That thing's going to take half the Zarkaf fleet with it when it goes. The Avalon's engines screamed as they reversed course, racing to escape the growing gravitational maelstrom. Around them, Zarkaf ships were being pulled in, crushed into oblivion by the very weapon they had hoped would secure their victory. As the last of the human and Eleran ships cleared the danger zone, the Singularity engine collapsed in on itself, releasing a burst of energy that momentarily outshone New Eden's sun. In the stunned silence that followed, Ilara surveyed the tactical display. The Zarkaf fleet was in disarray, their formations shattered, their command structure in chaos. All ships, she said, her voice filled with fierce determination. Press the attack. Let's finish this. What followed was not so much a battle as a rout. Without the Singularity engine and with their leadership in disarray, the remaining Zarkaf ships were no match for the combined human-Eleran fleet. Those that could fled into hyperspace, leaving their comrades to be picked off or captured. As the last enemy signals winked out, a cheer went up across the New Eden fleet. They had done it. Against all odds, they had faced the full might of the Zarkaf Empire and emerged victorious. But Ilara knew this was not the end. As she looked out at the starfield, littered with the debris of battle, she understood that they had won a great victory, but the war was far from over. Admiral Vega, she said quietly, begin compiling all the data we've gathered on Zarkaf technology and tactics, and send out a general call to all known human colonies and potential allies. It's time we took the fight to the enemy. As the Avalon turned towards home, Ilara allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had faced its trial by fire and emerged stronger than ever. The galaxy was changing, alliances were shifting, and at the heart of it all stood the reawakened human race. The Zarkaf Empire had unleashed a force they could not hope to contain. Humanity was back among the stars, and this time, they were here to stay. A new dawn. The Grand Assembly Hall of New Eden was packed to capacity, a sea of faces both human and alien. At the center of it all stood Governor Ilara Chen, her posture straight despite the fatigue etched on her features. The battle against the Zarkaf Armada had been won, but the true work was only beginning. People of New Eden, honored allies, Ilara began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. We stand at a crossroads. The Zarkaf threat has been pushed back, but not eliminated. The galaxy looks to us now, not just as defenders, but as leaders. A murmur ran through the crowd. Ambassador Thela of the Eleran Concordat stepped forward, her luminescent skin glowing softly in the chamber's light. The Eleran people stand with humanity, Thela declared. Your victory has inspired hope across the galaxy. Already, We've received communications from a dozen worlds seeking to join our alliance. Fleet Commander Marcus Reeves, now sporting an admiral's insignia, joined them at the podium. Our fleets are growing stronger by the day, he reported. The technology we've salvaged from the Zarkaf, combined with our rediscovered heritage and Eleron advancements, has given us an edge. But we can't become complacent. Ilara nodded, her expression grave. Which is why I've called this assembly. We must decide our path forward. Do we focus on fortifying our positions, or do we take the fight to the heart of the Zarkaf Empire? The debate that followed was heated. Some argued for caution, for building up their defenses and solidifying their alliances before risking further conflict. Others pushed for immediate action, striking while the Zarkaf was still reeling from their defeat. As the arguments flew back and forth, Dr. Zara Patel cleared her throat, drawing attention. There's another factor to consider, she said, her voice quiet but firm. In studying the Zarkaf technology, particularly the Singularity Engine, we've made a startling discovery. The Zarkaf aren't native to this galaxy. They're invaders just like us. A hush fell over the assembly. Ilara leaned forward, her eyes wide. What are you saying, Doctor? Zara tapped a few commands into her datapad, and a holographic display sprang to life above the assembly. It showed a map of the known galaxy with a strange anomaly at its edge. We've detected traces of an artificial wormhole, Zara explained. It's massive, far beyond anything we've ever encountered, and it's active. The Zarkaf are bringing reinforcements from somewhere else. Another galaxy, perhaps, or even another universe. The implications were staggering. The assembly erupted into chaos, voices raised in fear and confusion. Ilara raised her hands, calling for quiet. This changes everything, she said, her voice cutting through the din. We're not just fighting for our place in this galaxy. We're fighting for the survival of all life here. Admiral Vega's holographic form materialized beside Ilara. Governor, if I may, the AA said. There is a solution, but it will require resources beyond anything we currently possess. All eyes turned to the AI as she continued. Deep within the archives of the Phoenix, I found references to an ancient Terran project, a device capable of sealing rifts in space-time. If we deconstruct it, we could close the wormhole, Ilara finished, her mind racing, cut off the Zarkaf from their reinforcements. The assembly hall buzzed with excitement and apprehension. The scale of what they were considering was enormous, but so were the stakes. Ambassador Thaler stepped forward once more. The Eleron Concordat pledges its full support to this endeavor, she declared, and I believe I speak for all our allies when I say we stand united with humanity in this cause. A cheer went up from the assembled delegates. Ilara felt a swell of emotion in her chest. This, she realized, was what her ancestors must have felt when they first reached for the stars. A sense of purpose, of destiny. Then it's decided, Ilara said, her voice ringing with determination. We will build this device. We will take the fight to the Zarkaf, and we will secure a future for all free peoples of this galaxy. The months that followed were a whirlwind of activity. New Eden became the center of a vast coalition, with ships and resources pouring in from across the galaxy. The shipyards worked around the clock, producing not just warships, but the components for the massive device that would be their salvation. As the day of reckoning approached, Ilara found herself once more on the bridge of the Avalon. Around her, a fleet of unprecedented size and diversity assembled. Ships of 100 different designs, from a score of civilizations, all united under a single banner. All ships report ready, Governor, Marcus said, his voice tight with anticipation. Ilara nodded, taking a deep breath. This was it. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. Send the signal, she ordered. All ships commence jump to target coordinates. In a dazzling display of light, the Allied armada leaped into hyperspace. When they emerged, they found themselves face to face with the largest Zarkaf fleet yet encountered, and beyond it, shimmering like a heat mirage, was the massive wormhole. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as one of the most epic engagements in galactic history. The Allies fought with desperation and valor, knowing that failure meant the end of everything they held dear. At the heart of it all was the Avalon, escorting the massive ship that carried the rift-sealing device. Inch by bloody inch, they fought their way towards the wormhole. As they neared their target, a familiar and dreaded shape loomed before them. Another singularity engine, even larger than the one they had faced before. "We can't let that thing activate," Ilara shouted. "All ships, concentrate fire." But even as the words left her mouth, she knew it wouldn't be enough. The singularity engine's maw began to glow, ready to unleash its reality-warping power. In that moment, as hope seemed lost, a new signal cut across all frequencies. A voice Ilara had never heard before, but which stirred something deep in her genetic memory. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the Terran Federation Dreadnought Excalibur," the voice declared. "Sorry we're late to the party, New Eden. Let's show these Zarkaf what humanity can really do." From the far side of the battlefield, a massive ship unlike anything Ilara had ever seen tore into reality. It moved with impossible speed and grace, its weapons tearing through the Zarkaf fleet like tissue paper. With the Excalibur's aid, the tide of battle turned. The singularity engine fell, and the path to the wormhole was cleared. "Now," Ilara ordered, "activate the device." A beam of coruscating energy lanced out from the Allied ships, striking the heart of the wormhole. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of reality, the massive portal began to collapse. As the wormhole imploded, taking with it the Zarkaf's hopes of reinforcement, a cheer went up across the Allied fleet. They had done it. Against all odds, they had saved not just their galaxy, but perhaps countless others. In the aftermath of the battle, as the Allies began the long process of rebuilding, Ilara found herself in conversation with Admiral Helena Chen. The woman was older, her face lined with the weight of command, but her eyes sparkled with the same determination Ilara saw in the mirror every day. "You've done well, Governor Chen," Helena said. "When we left those sleeper ships behind, we hoped that one day humanity would reclaim its place among the stars. You've exceeded our wildest expectations." Ilara felt a swell of pride, tempered with humility. "We couldn't have done it without you, Admiral, or without our allies." Helena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "That's the lesson we had to learn the hard way, back in our time. No species can stand alone against the darkness between the stars. It's only together that we can build a future worth fighting for." As Ilara looked out at the assembled fleet, at the mix of human and alien ships working side by side to clear the debris of battle, she felt a sense of hope stronger than any she had ever known. Humanity had reclaimed its heritage, yes, but more than that, they had found their place in a wider community. The galaxy was entering a new age, one of cooperation and shared purpose. And whatever challenges the future might hold, Ilara knew that they would face them together. For in unity, they had found strength. In diversity, they had found wisdom. And in the vastness of space, they had found not conquest, but connection. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and humanity stood ready to meet it head-on.